All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really powerful idea, and it's this. You are not at war with yourself. We're going to explore why embracing every part of who you are, yeah, especially the parts you might try to hide, isn't just about finding peace. It's actually a source of incredible, untapped strength. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. We're so often taught to see ourselves as split in two, the good side versus the bad side. Like they're these two armies constantly fighting. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if they're not at war at all? What if they're actually partners in this intricate, beautiful ballet?
So, let's zoom out for a second. Because this idea, this dance, it's not just about what's going on in your head. The concept of duality, we're told, is a fundamental truth of the entire cosmos. It's this grand, eternal pattern that you can see everywhere, from the biggest stars in the sky down to the smallest, quietest moments in your day.
Okay, get this. Opposites don't just fight each other. They literally define each other. You can't even see a star, really appreciate it, without the total blackness of the void behind it, right? A song, it wouldn't be a song without the silence it emerges from. Hot means nothing without cold. Creation and destruction, they're two sides of the same coin. You just can't have one without the other.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just some big, abstract space philosophy. That same cosmic truth, that same dance, it's happening inside of you right now. Your own consciousness is like a miniature version of the entire universe. So let's bring it back home and see how this actually plays out inside our own minds.
Okay, so if this whole duality thing is totally natural, then where do we mess it up? Well, this is where we get into what our source calls the fundamental human mistake. It's how we insist on splitting ourselves into good parts and bad parts. And in doing that, we create this huge internal war that honestly just doesn't need to be happening.
Yeah, this is it. The big trick we play on ourselves. We spend pretty much our whole lives chasing the light stuff. Happiness, success, confidence. And at the same time, we're desperately trying to lock away the shadow stuff, our fear, our doubt, our screw-ups. We're trying to live a half-life. And you know what? It's completely impossible. This quote just paints such a perfect picture of why that half-life doesn't work. I mean, just imagine a world with only sunshine. No shadows. It sounds nice at first, but really it would be flat, washed out, boring. There'd be no depth, no texture. It's the shadows that give the mountains their incredible shapes and the valleys their depth. And when we deny our own shadows, we're basically doing the same thing to ourselves. We're flattening out our own lives. So what happens next? What happens when you try to ignore or push down a huge part of who you are? Well, that part doesn't just poof, disappear. No way. It gets louder. It finds other ways to get your attention, to make its presence felt. So I want you to really sit with this question for a second. What's the real cost of denying half of yourself? I'm talking about the toll it takes on your relationships, on your work, on your own sanity. Because make no mistake, it's not a free choice. There are always consequences. And here's how that shadow tends to show up. It's that nagging anxiety that's just always there. It's getting stuck in those loops of self-sabotage. It's that super harsh judgment you have for other people, which, let's be honest, is usually just a reflection of something you don't like about yourself. The bottom line is this. The shadow will find a way to be heard, whether you want it to or not. I absolutely love this metaphor. It completely changes how you see the shadow, right? It's not some evil monster you have to go out and slay. It's more like a lost, scared little part of you, a part that's been ignored and left in the dark. And all this acting out is really just its way of crying out for some attention, for some care, so it can finally come back home.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we've looked at the pretty serious consequences, but now we get to the good part, the solution. And it all starts with a huge shift in perspective, a complete reframing of this entire internal struggle. This right here, this is the turning point. That constant push and pull you feel inside, that tension between your best self and your worst self, it is not a flaw. It's not a curse you're stuck with. It's actually a gift.
It's the very thing that creates the energy and the contrast you need to actually grow as a person.
So, what are we aiming for here? What's the goal? It's to reach what our source calls true consciousness. And what does that mean? It means really, truly getting that your greatest strengths, your light, were probably forged in the fire of your vulnerabilities, your shadow. Think about it. A hero isn't brave because they feel no fear. They're brave because they feel the fear and act anyway. The fear gives the courage its meaning. And this is the ultimate payoff. This is what it's all for. The moment you stop fighting yourself and start embracing all of it, you stop being this broken, fragmented person, you become whole. You become this complete, radiant being who can handle the full, messy, complicated, beautiful reality of being human.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds fantastic in theory, but how do you actually do it? Like, what's the first step? Well, that's what this final section is all about. We're going to look at a super practical, hands-on exercise you can use to start this journey of, well, befriending your own shadow.
So the source gives us this simple but powerful exercise called the dragon trial. And I love that name because the whole point is that you're not there to slay the dragon. You're there to face it, to look it in the eye, and to figure out what kind of treasure it's been guarding this whole time. So let's break down the 4 steps.
Okay, step 1 is to just acknowledge it. Name a quality you really don't like about yourself. Let's use impatience as an example. Step 2, investigate. Get curious. Has that impatience ever, even once, actually helped you? Maybe it gave you the push you needed to meet a tough deadline. Step 3 is to question. What might this impatience be trying to tell you? Maybe it's pointing to a deep need for things to be more efficient. And finally, step 4, reframe it. Can you list 3 potential gifts hiding in your impatience? Maybe it's a powerful drive to get things done, a real desire for clarity, and a healthy intolerance for wasting time.
Now, it is absolutely crucial to be clear on this point. This is not an excuse for bad behavior. Befriending your anger, for example, does not mean it's okay to lash out at people. The goal here isn't to justify harmful actions. It's to understand without judgment where they come from. Because that deep understanding, that's the only real starting point for true change. So let's leave you with this one final question to think about. Those parts of you that you've shoved into the darkness, they aren't just holding your fears and your failures. They're also guarding hidden strengths, powerful lessons, and incredible gifts. The only real question left is, are you brave enough to turn on the light and see what's really there?